Here's an example of how you might organize a whole bunch of different code segments. So first of all, your screen is littered from running a piece of code. So anytime somebody who wants to look at your work starts the program, when you give them a link, it's going to start it by pushing the green flag. So what we want to do is we want to make a control structure to initialize the program. So when the green flag is clicked, what we want to do is, first of all, go to 0, 0, the center of the screen, and we're going to point our sprite in the same direction every time. And then under pen, I'm going to clear the screen. So when the program is initialized or started, this is basically going to put the sprite wherever it is. It's going to move. See, right here is the sprite. It's going to move it to the center and it's going to clear the screen. So here I'm going to click go. And if I click go, it runs this code right here. It clears the screen. It points the sprite to the right. Now, here's my first program. I'm going to just say 1, and then 2, and then 3. It's going to count up to 10. Okay? So the sprite is just saying things. And you're going to do this, except you're going to do it with a loop, so you don't write out all these lines of code. But let's say I want to make that the first thing that the grader sees. So what I'm going to do is go back to control, and I'm going to get an event handler. So right here, and I'm going to say, since this is part 1 of the project, I'm going to say when 1 is pressed. So when the program starts, it clears the screen. When 1 is pressed, so if I push the 1 key, it executes this block of code and it starts counting. Okay? Maybe this was the second thing to do. And so what I can do is I can add an event handler. So when a 2 is pressed, it's going to do this. So if I push 2, it executes that block of code. And then I can push 2 again and 2 again, and you can see it's just repeating the block of code, this block of code, every time I push 2. So your project has got 6 different parts. There's going to be 6 little code segments. So put an event handler on the top of each one, corresponding to what part of the project it is, so that when I push 1, I can see what this block of code does. When I push 2, I can see what that block of code does. If you see that there's some similarities, you could actually take the entire block of code and duplicate it and put it down here. You can scroll down, and then you can just edit what you need to for step 3, whatever that's supposed to be, and then you'll activate that when the 3 key is pressed. Okay, so that's what I want you to do to organize your work. Take all your code segments, link them to event handlers, these things right here, which will allow me to quickly check and see if you've completed all the parts, and it'll help you keep your code all organized there, okay? And of course, you can keep pasting to the left or down, and you can scroll up and down as you need to, okay? So start off with an initialization block to clear the screen, and then you also might need to do these same things. So for example, I could duplicate this, and I could stick it right in there. So when a 2 is pressed, it clears the screen before it does it. So that would clear the screen each time before picking a random shape and drawing it at a random location, for example. Okay? So you can just use that as a way to organize your work.